that have been put in place and are being put in place are definitely helping. The FTAs are helping. Maybe a little bit of your wisdom in how we should look at this, and maybe it's working together or whatever else that you said, to overcome this short-term barrier would be very welcome.
Thanks. Sanjay?
Sir, there's a lot of work being done by you, and on behalf of industry, we thank you for the amount of energy you put in concluding a lot of the FTAs. But going ahead in the changed environment, a lot of us are exporting. There are traditional exporting industries. But with new frontiers being opened, where their demand for Indian goods may be different than our traditional exports, what would you think would be some of the industries which would have to rise up or live to the expectations of the new customers, if I might? Thank you.
Sanjay?
Sir, hearing you is like music to ears every time. You infuse energy, you encourage us, and there is positivity all around. We sincerely thank you for doing what is required, the speed of responsiveness and the timely action and intervention which has helped us to achieve 863 billion in spite of all the odds, global turbulence. Sir, the FTAs which you have put the imprint on with 38 countries and with 9 FTAs, how do we see that the real benefit of those FTAs got to ultimate the districts where the production is and in the centers of it. Production ultimately, as you said, one district, one product, that is where the action is. So some kind of institutional mechanism or something where the real benefit of FTAs go where it is intended to.
Piyush, I'll just make 1 or 2 points. First is, if we can, I mean, the quality of presentation made by your ministry on the second stage of FTA was just outstanding. If there is a way in which we can leverage AI and vernacular languages and take it to every district, every industrial cluster, every MSME, where they can actually plug in and say, this is my product, what is the demand, what is the certificate of origin, how will that certificate of origin look like, how can it be transferred, are there any other non-tariff barriers? So, it can always, they can almost have, so yes, human-to-human contact is definitely there, dissemination is there, but if we can use that through technology, that is great. And the second one is a slightly provocative question, is on QCOs. I think I meet so many people who have benefited and so many industries who have benefited from QCOs. You've emphasized on the word quality. We also understand that there were particular parts of the world where we were worried about products of inferior quality at much lower pricing coming and being dumped in the market. And a lot of people benefited from that. Also on the other side, when we go and meet for a lot of these FTA, I'm sure you go for the FTA conversations when we go for trade dialogues. And also talking sometimes to some exporters, when QCOs are imposed on raw materials, on intermediate products, sometimes those products are not manufactured in India. There is a lot of value in why QCO was brought in. There are some practical challenges that have come about. How do we see, how do we capture the best of this? What do you suggest? How do we move forward in that? CV, any? Okay.
There are some smart Rahuls also. Rahul, India during COVID demonstrated to the world that they can trust India. In fact, that was one period when we were tested by the world and we came out winners. We met every commitment we made to the world, whether it was in pharmacy, whether it was in our service delivery, All back offices ran seamlessly without disturbance. People rejigged their processes so that they could work from home, but made sure that there was no downtime. And that was the first reflection on India's ability to move quickly during a crisis, but ensure the customer is satisfied. We need to build upon that. And amongst the various things that will help us build upon that is actually quality. There was a time when you would go to the market and you would say, the older people in the room, again, Rajiv, you may remember, jara export quality ka mal dena. There were two qualities. There was an export quality and an Indian quality. That mindset needs to change. If brand India can be reflective of good quality, then we'll become a trusted partner of the world. Anything Indian, it has to be good. An Indian worker has to be proficient. An Indian engineer will do his job well. An Indian automobile will give you long years of service. In every aspect, our effort will have to ensure not just profit or not just individual good from where I started, but common good for the country. If all of us take that as a mission and as a collective commitment, then becoming a trusted partner in global supply chains will be very easy, particularly given the various free trade agreements either concluded or under discussion, because we would have covered almost all important countries of the world, except China, of course. I don't think any of you want me to do an FTA with China, right? We're looking at FTAs with countries where there's adequate and fair opportunity and equal benefits for both countries. Also in digital goods manufacturing, we will have to identify products, we'll have to identify technologies, encourage our startups, spend money on R&D and innovation to develop our own systems and our own technologies. Gone is the time when you could trust that we can only be dependent on imported technology. That trust factor in India has grown. Many other geographies have lost that trust. Even when India puts an export control, it is for wider public good of the world. Like we put our export control on pharmacy or our vaccines and medicines during COVID, not to profit from it, only to make sure traders don't profit by buying off our medicines or our vaccines and selling it to others at a high cost, but to make sure we provide it to the less developed countries or to the developing nations, either free of charge or at very low cost. So India is a very responsible global citizen. Look, so many free trade deals. The world looking up to Prime Minister Modi is not an ordinary phenomenon. It's the phenomena of the trust on 1.4 billion Indians. They are confident about India today. They want to work with India. They want to expand the relations with all of you. They are looking to invest in your companies. They're looking to partner with you with technology. They're looking to not only leverage the India market, but go global from India. JCB is right here. 130 countries now. A British company barely started 4 decades ago in India, launching all fresh products from India now and going to 130 countries. It will be the story of each one of you. I have kings and princes saying we are willing to do this for you, but first get us a Bukhara in our country. I'm not joking, it's true. And they have still to fulfill that commitment I've given. We need to come up to speed. We need to go fast. We need to be going out to the world markets, capturing them. because the world is looking up to India. And we have all the abilities. It's just that the laser focus on quality and sustainability, zero defect, zero effect, you'll earn the world market. You'll earn the trust of the world, even beyond what we did in COVID. Amit, I agree that there is a slowdown in other parts of the world. But remember, that is the best time for us. If somebody else slows down, that's our opportunity to grow. They are going to be looking at cost cutting. They are going to be looking at trying to becoming more efficient. It's a question of survival in many countries for businesses. That's the time they need a partner like India. We can provide the best of quality, goods, services. We can provide it at competitive prices. And with the free trade agreements, the doors are open now. They're open to import, they're open to export. But as I said earlier, what are we worried about from imports from these countries? These 38 countries cannot produce anything which we don't need. Now, if they give us a quantum computing equipment, we'll need it. We'll welcome it. We'll welcome more aircrafts. We need more aeroplanes in the country to promote tourism and earn more foreign exchange. So we'll welcome certain things which we don't make in India. And that's what the free trade agreement is about. Complementarity, particularly with rich countries. And that's what we are trying to give you, to open your doors so that seamless value chains can be created. For example, a smartphone. The maximum value add in a smartphone in any one geography in the world so far is about 38, 39%. We are now close to 19, 20% already. And I'm told we'll go to 38% in the next 5 years. Now look at the massive transition that has done and the huge number of jobs that is providing, the huge amount of value add, the huge amount of foreign exchange. We have some of the world's best refineries in India, or rather the largest and the best also. So India is a story of scale, is a story of capabilities, and we can actually go to the world, not only get investments from them, and many are committing to do more and more investments. They are wanting to do more. We have to take opportunities to them. They are all looking to invest, particularly in manufacturing and industry. And government will be happy to receive any ideas from all of you, sectorally or collectively as a whole. What we can do to help you attract more investment or seamlessly export more. For example, in the export promotion mission, we are planning to pay all micro units and small units, whatever it costs, to get regulatory approval anywhere in the world. We'll pay up for that. I'm hiring 1,000 people, to what Rajiv just said. 1,000 people we are hiring in the next couple of months, 2 or 3 months. We'll be creating a pyramid chain right down to 780 districts, where we'll have a representative of the Commerce Ministry trained to disseminate information. We'll train them what are the benefits of an FTA, what is quality, and we'll help them to create connections, leveraging technology from one to the other. I would in fact urge some of you and those of you who are in the digital world, we clearly and urgently need some e-commerce to go global. Because it's important that people are able to order into India, even at small volumes. We are looking at financing warehouses across the world, so people can stock their goods ready to ship on demand. We are planning to take 500 delegations in the next 8 or 9 months to all parts of the world, particularly the FTA countries. Now, what Prime Minister said is not stop business travel. I find it so ridiculous when I see some of the very frivolous comments made on social media. They don't recognize what he has talked about is consumption expenditure, leisure expenditure. Please go all over the world for your business. Spend money to get more money. Get more foreign exchange into the country. Get investors. Get export orders. We will be asking you to lead delegations to the world. If we're going to achieve a $2 trillion target, you have to achieve it. I'm not an exporter. So we're going to work very closely with all of you. And by the way, I have collected database of 1,600 associations, not just CII, FICCI and ASSOCHAM or PhD chamber. We've gone right down to local small chambers, 1,600 chambers. And we're going to talk to each one of them. Our representatives will interact with them. We'll encourage new products to be exported, new exporters, capture new markets. So we're making very granular plans how we can leverage all these FTAs and convert the global crisis into a golden opportunity for India. To you, Sanjay, yeah, both Sanjays, but to you, Sanjay, you spoke about which industries can leverage these FTAs. Frankly, typically, what do we think? We think of textiles, think of leather, we think of sportswear. These are obviously going to benefit. But to my mind, I cannot think of any industry which will not benefit. Because we have always thrown in some investment element, we've thrown in some hospitality element, we've thrown in an education element, we've put in large number of openings for the service sector in all of our FTAs. We've been able to get access for our fish product, seafood products. We are the world's 6th largest seafood exporters today. Can you believe with US tariffs at 50%? All right. Our seafood exports and the war post-March, our seafood exports last year grew by 12 or 14%. We crossed $8 billion, 72,000 crores. Seafood export. Now everybody was panicking. I got letters from every chief minister that what will happen to our fishermen, what will happen to our marine exports when that duties kept getting increased. The US was a big market. But this is a government which is alive, which is always active, working with the world. We immediately got tracking with the EU. They delisted our seafood exporters some 10 or 12 years ago. I don't know, 2012, 13, 14, I don't remember now. And for so many years, they were not relisting them. I just stopped all the QCOs. Stopped approving any QCOs. And they panicked. Here's Kamal Bali is here from Volvo. I don't know if any of my actions hurt you. And they panicked. Why have you stopped our QCOs? I was also shocked because I had not done it. The good, smart officer in my team who did it. I almost blasted him. You spoiling all my relations. Here I am finalizing a FTA with EU and you stopped all QCO approvals. And he very politely, very softly, the officer's name I'm not giving, some of you know him. Yeah. He said, sir, we have been waiting for 12 years for our marine fishery exporters to get listed. But they can wait a few months for their QCOs. That's the Modi government for you. Even our officers think like us now. And we got our listing, more than 125 fish establishments listed very, very fast. We opened the Russian market. So whatever we lost in the US, we not only made up, we more than made up with Russia and Europe opening up. Now, with US tariffs going down post the FTA and the orders of the Supreme Court and all of that, we will see expansion. Seafood will go not only to the US back again, or has started, but also to Europe, also to Russia. And no AI is going to hurt seafood, right? So I'm just sharing with you that you have to be proactive, and which is what we are trying to do through dissemination of knowledge. What Rajiv Memani ji said is right. We are going to leverage technology so that the information asymmetry which is hurting us at some times. Adequate information about what sectors have been opened up, where the opportunities are. Those are the works that we will do. But it's only as good as you capture the opportunity. To Sanjay Budhia, similar, I mean, there's a safety is for you to leverage. I'm out of the game of the private sector now. So, ab watan aapke hawale sathiya. And lastly, to your question on QCOs. Well, I think it's unfortunate that some import lobbies manage to misrepresent what QCOs are all about. QCO is nothing but an effort to raise the consciousness of India and Indian consumers that quality matters and quality is not expensive. It's good for us. It's good in the long run. It'll help India in the long run. Normally we had BIS standards. We would have liked everyone to follow those. But sadly, they just remained a standard on paper, not being followed. We were getting substandard goods from some of the geographies coming into India at abysmally low price, becoming a disincentive for good quality goods and services. And the quality control order is a little bit of a effort to persuade consumers and suppliers, whether Indian or foreign, to consciously respect India's quality standards. And I think any effort in that direction is good for India. Some misplaced, misinformed, or I would say misdirected efforts, largely driven by importers' lobbies. And those are importers of, consumer goods, furniture importers and stuff like that. Toys importers. These are the guys who actually misrepresented it so that they could get low-cost, zero-duty goods from countries like the ASEAN region, which FTA was signed by the Congress government before we came in, and which I'm told industry is not very happy about, because it's an unfair competition. They don't open their markets to our products. Our exports to the ASEAN region, to Japan, Korea, all the FTAs done pre-2014 are flat. And our imports are just burgeoning, growing. Trade deficit is growing by leaps and bounds. So it's time that we started taking action to get good quality stuff and respecting good quality. I would urge all of you, please take the message of Atmanirbharta seriously, message of quality seriously. Don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Focus on supporting each other. Focus on faster indigenization. Make sure your businesses are resilient to supply shocks. Make sure you're not overtly dependent on any one geography or one or two geographies in your business. And therefore, this is a good wake-up call in your interest, and this will hold you in good stead for many, many years to come. And I'll come back to this stage after a year, as I've done year on year, and I'm sure you will all appreciate by that time the value of the Honorable Prime Minister's guidance for all of industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on behalf of everyone, Piyush, thank you so much for spending the time and for your honest remarks and conversations. And for me, thank you for the entire year. Thank you so much. Thank you.
In my hairdo. I just hope the same thing doesn't happen to you, what the people have done to Jairam and his party. Our evergreen hero of CII, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, the president of the Import-Export Committee of CII, Mr. Sanjay Budhia, somebody I really look up to for cutting edge technologies and the wonderful work he does. I also fight a lot with Sanjay that he needs to grow much faster to capture the opportunities around the world. But somebody who really makes world-class machine tools, Mr. Sanjay Jayavardhanabelu. My good friend Amit Kalyani, with whose father I was sharing the enjoyable Bajaj at 100 evening yesterday. Another company that makes us proud for their fabulous achievements in terms of defense, auto components, truly cutting edge technology stuff, which will remain ever relevant irrespective of any amount of AI. I'm making a pitch for investments in Kalyani, boss. Mr. Rahul Garg, all the captains of industry, distinguished delegates, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share some thoughts with you and take forward the very appropriate theme for today, where you're discussing the future. What would be India's trade strategies in this fragmented world order as we vision the India of tomorrow, the India at 2047. Only yesterday, friends, we completed 75 years of Pran Pratishtha of Somnath Mandir in Gujarat. Somnath temple is not just a Jyotirling temple we all revere. It's a symbol of a confident and resurgent Bharat. I don't know how much you read up about Somnath's reconstruction. It's a temple which has seen thousands of years of destruction, repeated attacks. But we have always come back. It has always been rebuilt. It has always come back to as a place of dedication, as a place of service. And in that sense, it's the spirit of Sardar Patel that we see when we look at Somnath temple today. We find in the Somnath temple a focus which is very relevant to today's economy, because Somnath Mandir is reflective of Atmanirbhar Bharat. It's reflective of Bharat ka Atma Vishwas, and it's reflective on our Atma Raksha. Atmanirbhar because despite any challenges, India bounces back and bounces back bigger and better. Come what may, the self-confidence that India has today is unmatched anywhere in the world. And we all collectively recognize that whether it's geopolitical challenges, whether it's economic challenges, whether it's technological challenges, India has the ability to defend, to fortify ourselves against any challenges that are thrown on us. And all of this collectively is the India of today, ready to take on the future. Just yesterday, the Bajaj family celebrated 100 years. Incidentally, Rahul Bajaj, I'm told, is the only person to have been president of CII twice. So Rajiv, you have no chance. They're trouble, they tire you out so much that it only needs a person like Rahul Bhai to have the gumption to take it on twice, I think. But look at the story of the Bajaj family. A story which has seen three eras. The colonial world under the British, when it started, the pre-liberalization, the socialist era in India, and the liberal world in which today the Bajaj Group is doing leaps and bounds year on year. A symbol of resilience, but also a symbol of confidence. A symbol of a company rooted in tradition, but a mindset which is more modern than the most modern. High family traditions and value systems, 5 generations living and working together. I say all this, friends, because they did not only take part in the freedom struggle, they were a big votary of Swadeshi. They gave their wealth in charity, even when it was not compulsory to do so under the Companies Act. And for them, they always believed that the common good prevails over individual good. And that, friends, has been a theme that I've shared with all of you on every occasion that I have come and addressed, whether CII, any other association, any sectoral association. And I would urge you to look back at the common theme that the Modi government and all of us, part of his team, have consistently maintained over the last 12 years. How many times from this podium have I expressed that Indian industry must learn to support each other? Look at the Korean style, look at the Japanese way of working. How long are we going to be so myopic in our view that we don't recognize that the common good of Indian industry will help our individual future also, will be good for us individually also? That lesson is now no more a suggestion, it's becoming an imperative. It doesn't need governments to stop Indian steel from going to Korea or Japan. Industry makes sure that they support each other. And if I recall some of my comments made at different podiums to all of you, I would like to just highlight 3 or 4 to show you the commonality of thread in the thinking of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and this government. Soon after a cabinet meeting, I was addressing the media on 17th May 2017, 9 years ago. And I said, and I quote, under Prime Minister Modi, we are looking to make India self-reliant in terms of power requirement, along with providing carbon-free sources of power, thus improving India's position globally, unquote. I was addressing the Economic Times Awards on 1st December 2019 into our second term, when I said, our government is happy to carry the Swadeshi tag. We believe that our self-reliance, our self-sufficiency, and our self-confidence is going to determine the future of India and the future of the people of India. Speaking at the CII celebration of 75 years on 8th August 2020, during COVID, I had said, reinforcing the Prime Minister's launch of Atmanirbhar Bharat, Atmanirbhar Bharat can only succeed when you and I put in equal effort, when you and I believe in ourselves and in each other, when you and I go from a position of confidence and strength. And that is what, in a way, the Prime Minister had said when he launched Atmanirbhar Bharat. It would have to be a collective action. All of us are in it together. It cannot be the government versus the industry. It is the government and business and industry and the people of India. In fact, I gave one budget in 2019, that interim budget. If I remember correctly, I had ended by saying this, that when 120 crore Indians, at that time it was 120 crores, when 120 crore Indians take one step forward, the nation will move 120 crore steps forward. In fact, in the same event on VC on 8th August 2020, I had said Atmanirbhar Bharat is not just a slogan. It should become the mission of our lives. And friends, when I was addressing the India at 75 summit of CII, on 12th August 2021, I had mentioned a theme which I have spoken umpteen number of times. Our aim is to make brand India a flag bearer of quality, productivity, talent, and innovation. Now, these 5 comments, all of them made years ago, is what the Prime Minister said day before yesterday. It is only the need of the hour that we've got to strengthen the India spirit. The global situation is well known to all of us. We are all conscious of geopolitical challenges. What we need today is a wake-up call. And what the Honorable Prime Minister has attempted to do is to guide us that it cannot be business as usual. And India has always performed best during times of adversity. Very often we joke amongst ourselves that the best out of you and me comes out when there's a problem. And we convert every crisis into an opportunity. There could be all sorts of issues that we are confronted with. But I don't think any of us has ever buckled under any pressure. Any of us has ever given up when we face any challenges. And that's the story of India. I mean, the world today, with a fragmented geopolitical and business situation, is facing a crisis every day. But look at the India story within this crisis. Our economy remains robust, very strong fundamentals. The IMF says if you have 8 to 12 months of foreign exchange reserves to cover your imports, you are considered in a very strong position. We have 11 months cover on our imports, 11 months. We've had a record year in exports. We've exported, the final figure will be out in a couple of days, but roughly $863 billion, which is an all-time high, $863 billion of exports. And our trade deficit, goods and services together, is less than our annual remittances, much less than our remittances. And remittances is today's trade. In this changing world, you must be reading about our FTAs also having a serious, strong element of mobility partnerships. Because trade today also includes people movement. The number of people working in the Gulf alone has crossed 10 million. Or if you want to go even into finer detail, the number of people working in UAE alone has grown from 1.8 million to 4.5 million in the last 12, 13 years. This is all business that they're going there for. This is all service that India is providing to the world. And with such a strong situation, should we not become more ambitious and plan for a brighter future? Come to think of it, some of you may recall, 5th January 2015, the Honorable Prime Minister of India launched Ujjwala. We've just had the Ujjwala Mantri leave. Dharmendra Pradhan was Petroleum Minister when Ujjwala was launched. That is the cooking gas connections to every household in the country. I had launched Ujjwala, the LED lighting program, 5th January 2015. Was there a crisis at that point of time? Did anybody start wondering, oh my God, what's the problem? Why is the Prime Minister launching an energy-saving LED bulb? Do we have a power shortage? Are we going to run out of power? Did any of you think of that? Or did you recognize the economic strength that energy efficiency brings to the table? How we've been able to save probably $10 billion of energy bills every year, year on year, for our consumers. And of course, in the process, save electricity consumption, particularly during peak hours, when it's most essential, and thereby help the environment. It was a sustainability come efficiency program done with zero cost to the government. People-led movement. All of you adopted it in your companies. The people of India adopted it in their homes. Everybody benefited. Show me one person who didn't benefit from that. When you run your factories, and if some of you may be using furnace oil, I started my career with a small food shop. Very, very small, Amit. Don't even. But I needed furnace oil for my furnaces 40 years ago. And there were two ways. I could let my furnace use the same nozzle for maybe 2 months and not replace it. which would keep guzzling more and more furnace oil, or I had to give it a shutdown, let it cool, replace the nozzle frequently, because furnace oil nozzle tends to expand with usage and passage of furnace oil, which is in any case a pretty rough fuel. But when we did the maths, it was a no-brainer. The saving in furnace oil was far greater than the cost of that nozzle, which was barely a few hundred rupees, I think. And I mean, we all use cars, fuel injection systems. Don't they have the nozzle? If smartly maintained, can you imagine how much furnace oil, how much petrol or diesel we can save? How many of us bother about it? I don't know. Maybe you all do. You're very smart, you're very conscious, or maybe you're too rich to bother about it. I'm just sharing these thoughts to bring to your attention how small actions collectively by 1.4 billion people can have transformational results. And it's a time, it's a wake-up call, it's a call to action in every walk of life. I think only last year at the same stage, I had shared with you how the late Piyush Pandey, somebody I've looked up to all my life as the finest creative advertising person that I've met in my life, had gifted me 2 films when I launched Ujala. He made it himself. And very simple things. There are a bunch of kids at home who are going and, in a way, cautioning their parents about switching off the air conditioner when they leave the room, switching off the light bulb or the fan bulb, not keeping the car air conditioner on for 20 minutes before you come down to sit in the car. Small interventions, big results. It's really about efficiency, better productivity, a consciousness that we all need to wake up to. Sustainability is all about saving waste. And all that we are saying is save that waste. It'll help you. It'll help the country. And I think looking at, while the businesses around the world, one can clearly see that while the world is facing so many uncertainties, India continues to be an outlier. We continue to show resilience. We continue to be confident, continue to be the fastest growing large economy. Prime Minister had articulated very beautifully when he said, when the world talks about slowdown, India writes stories of growth. When the world faces a trust crisis, India becomes a pillar of trust. And that is all of you. And this strength is not accidental. This strength comes from a decade of reform under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. You've elected him thrice as the Prime Minister of the country. In October, he will be the longest serving, he's actually the longest serving head of government between the state and center. And in October, he'll complete 25 years, first as Chief Minister and then as Prime Minister, uninterrupted. 25 years as head of state and then head of government in the center. But you've all trusted him. A mandate you've repeatedly reinforced even in state elections. I suddenly found all our friends from West Bengal have a voice. and more attendance at this summit than ever before. So next time, Rajiv, when he goes to audit a company in West Bengal, will not have to be worried about getting arrested for some comment he may have made in Delhi. Friends, this doctrine of Atmanirbharta, this doctrine of self-reliance, our confidence in ourselves has not changed. It's been our consistent stand, and year after year, we have tried to bring in programs to encourage this. We have tried to work with you as a team to make sure that we don't let any opportunity go by. The theme taken by CII, in a way, is also reflective of a time to ideate, think of newer ways of doing work, smarter ways. For example, I remember I was always a big votary of electric vehicles, something many of you have heard me speak about many times. Is it the first time that I'm talking about electrical vehicles? Certainly not. The first time I spoke was at an overdrive function at Hyatt Regency, when out of the blue, not a part of any script, not a part of any plan, since some cars were being rewarded for good design, and I think some motorcycles of electric genre had come in, at a CNBC overdrive awards function 10 years ago or 11 years ago. I just thrown a number at the audience. I said, I'd love to see an India where every new vehicle sold is an electric vehicle by 2030. Smarter people, younger people in the room, not you, Rajiv, no white-haired people. The younger guys with black hair. Can Google and find my comments, or maybe Claude it or ChatGPT it. But then we evolve with time. I used to fight with the late Vikram Kirloskar against hybrids. Today, I realize that probably a plug-in hybrid could be the best way to take the whole country into electrics, cut down our requirement of battery, have an ICE engine and the battery. I see my own cars. We don't run 100 kilometers a day in any of my cars. Whether in my home in Mumbai or in my office in Delhi, the running is less than 100 kilometers. So just a 100-kilometer battery with a backup of an ICE engine for those extra miles I may have to go once in a while. And lo and behold, you have a more affordable car. You are rid of the range anxiety. Your import bill on battery for the present, and once we start manufacturing in bigger numbers, that should not be a problem in any case. It's a win-win for everybody. And we'll cut down our petrol diesel consumption massively. Carpooling, what Prime Minister Modi said yesterday, or using the metro, and we are investing billions of dollars, lakhs of crores on metros around the country. Or the rapid rail systems, the amount of investments in infrastructure, coupled with your own effort to bring down import bill in whatever form it may be, will be the collective action to make the country stronger. I don't see any reason we need to be concerned. I think we need to be empowered. Each one of us should go back even more excited about the possibilities that the future holds for us. And our FTAs are only meant to reinforce your ability, both to attract more investment, to export more, All the 38 countries with which we have done an FTA in the last 3.5 years, the 9 FTAs, are all rich countries. They complement us, they don't compete with us. I mean, nothing can be made in Switzerland with $105,000 per capita income at a cost lower than ours. Nothing can be made in the US at $80,000 per capita or EU at $50,000 per capita. Smarter and better than us. But we can certainly leverage those big markets, those trillions of dollars that they spend on imports every year. Our talent can take us to the next level. And it's time that we started seriously reflecting on artificial intelligence and the tech transition as a force multiplier for us. I don't know whether we have really done some study. I urge CII to deeply reflect on so many areas where AI is only going to make our job better, more efficient, and add to the opportunities that are available to us. Using robotics, using quantum computing, we are going to become more efficient, more competitive. Why do you think the GCCs are flocking to India? 1,800 already here, at least 500 more in the pipeline, expected to cross 2,500 in the next 5 years. Our exports from these GCCs are growing literally 40-50% each year, currently at $50 billion, employing 2 million people directly, and the ecosystem they support would probably be another 10 million people. It's a time to grab all these opportunities. I don't see any problem. I see huge potential. It's the problem is in the mind, the potential is before us. And friends, there may be some sectors which are tech vulnerable. You know, we've also moved. We moved from the call centers to BPOs, BPOs to software, to business processes, to strategy. We'll move to AI. We leverage the Y2K moment so smartly. Now we'll be the world's leaders in applied AI. Who will prepare the applications on these large language models? We Indians will. And in every area, I mean, diamonds are down. Lab-grown diamonds is the new opportunity. Energy costs in India are low. Plus, we have huge ambitions and plans on green energy. Now imagine if we were to sell a lab-grown diamond made by renewable energy, green energy, in Europe or other parts of the world as a sustainable diamond. Look at the tremendous possibilities that it holds and the amount of people who will get engaged in making the beautiful jewelry that many people are wearing. For that matter, I mean, it may sound very small to you, but I think it's a huge potential. Artificial jewelry. I have people in my constituency who make artificial jewelry. Fabulous work. Probably better than what some of